Well, our next story now comes from the UK. Britain has unveiled a new wave of undersea warfare tech called Atlantic Bastion to counter what it says is rising Russian threats in the North Atlantic. During a visit to the naval base in Portsmouth, UK Defence Secretary John Healey and his Norwegian counterpart highlighted the growing risk posed by Russian vessels like the spy ship Yantar. Officially a research vessel, it had last month been tracked near critical undersea cable routes, mapping underwater telecom and energy lines that connect the UK with mainland Europe. Well, tensions escalated when it directed laser lights at Royal Air Force pilots who were monitoring its movements near UK waters.
Because we see, and I called out a few weeks ago, the Russian spy ship Yantar in and out British waters. We know what they were doing. We tracked it every mile of the way. But it is Russia mapping, surveying, and in times of conflict with the capacity to sabotage critical pipes, networks that our country depends on. And if we want to keep ahead of our adversaries, if we want to give our British Navy, with allies like the Norwegians, the edge on the battlefield, the edge on deterrence, then we have to combine the new technology that we saw today to be able to track, to be able to find, and if necessary, to be able to respond to the threats that we may face in the future.
Well, the new undersea warfare system will link ships, submarines, aircraft and drones through AI-driven advanced acoustic sensors and autonomous systems costing millions of dollars. It will help the UK detect, track and, if necessary, act against hostile underwater activity. The UK government says there's been a 30% surge in Russian vessels operating near or threatening UK waters over the past 2 years. Well, just weeks ago, the Parliamentary National Security Strategy Committee issued a stark assessment saying it was not confident that Britain could adequately protect its undersea cable network. The committee also warned that a single targeted strike on these cables could unleash catastrophic disruption across financial markets, digital communications and national security systems. Well, modern economies run on fibre optic cables that carry 97% of global internet traffic. If these cables are cut, then communications, financial systems and military operations can be disrupted within minutes. And Russia's heightened sea activity has exposed how vulnerable Western countries are to undersea sabotage. So now the UK's Atlantic Bastion is a direct response to these growing threats designed to protect its underwater domain. On December the 4th, the UK and Norway also signed a new defence pact called the Lunar House Agreement. Well, that pact will see both countries operate a joint fleet dedicated to tracking and hunting Russian submarines across the North Atlantic. The UK government says the two nations will field a joint fleet of at least 13 warships tasked with defending key nodes of NATO's northern flank.
And this Lunar House Agreement means that together we will develop and we will operate a combined force of at least 13 anti-submarine frigates in the North Atlantic and High North. It means that together we will develop a new generation of uncrewed military and maritime vessels together. It means that we will together develop a new generation of munitions in order that together we can reinforce wider European security and the security of our two nations.
UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer said the Defence Pact builds on what he called a strong and strategic partnership, thanking Norway for its steadfast support of Ukraine and its leadership in NATO's broader security efforts.
I'm really pleased about the strength of the relationship, the opportunity I'm going to have today to discuss with you all the important issues. Thank you, as ever, for your absolutely steadfast support of Ukraine, leading from the front, being an absolutely vital member of the coalition willing, and vital to the thinking that we're all putting into how we go forward in relation to that dreadful conflict, and on wider issues, whether it's the Middle East, Sudan, and other global issues.
Moscow, however, insists it's the UK that's escalating tensions, accusing London of overreacting. A Russian Foreign Ministry spokesperson said the UK-Norway Pact is being used as a pretext to monitor Russian naval activity, claiming it could provoke unnecessary confrontations in international waters. Well, in the end, with Atlantic Bastion, Britain is betting big on autonomy, AI, and hybrid naval power, and positioning itself as a leader in the next generation of undersea warfare amid Russian threats.
They promised glory. They delivered fear. They shaped nations. They scarred generations. From brutal purges to propaganda machines, from stolen power to violent falls from the throne. Welcome to The Dictator, a series that strips away the myth and then exposes the men behind the tyranny. History remembers their power. Firstpost reveals their truth.